also my mother's uncle went to the site. He was he was a pharmacist, not my own, another relative, and they killed them. All the professionals go to the site.
And they killed him right there on the street?
Right there.
Where was this?
Towards Vienna. They were walking. A lot of people. All of a sudden, the professionals go to the site. This is when they brought all the bodies back here, and it was terrible.
You were here?
I was standing there, yes.
And you saw them bring the bodies and put them in here?
And they buried all 1,200
You
bodies.
watched this?
Yes.
And you were how old?
I was 45. I was 42. 11. Well, how old? 11?
13.
Yeah, 10 years, 42. No, 42.
Almost
13. 13.
So you were 13
I was
years old
13
when you
years.
watched your father getting
Yeah.
buried in the mass grave right here?
Yeah.
Yeah? Who else?
What a surprise I had. I came back with my children, and it was a big deal to have children around, Jewish children, because they all were killed. And they made a big deal here, and also the other temple, children, they were around. Because it was not, they were killed, all the kids. And I came and I went upstairs. I was with my children, and when the rabbi started to speak, I almost fainted, because he was the rabbi when I left, and his voice I couldn't wait to be over and to talk to him and tell him that I'm survived and I'm with my children. It was a very moving experience.
If you walk the audio walk Gusen, you can hear your grandfather telling about his experiences in Camp Gusen. As far as I remember, he explains how the crematorium, the incinerators worked. And this was, I think, around 2005, 10 years ago approximately. And then every year it was fixed that he's coming, and he was a big supporter of our endeavors for Gusen, because in Austria, official Austria is only focused on Mauthausen. Gusen is more or less unknown up to now, and we have to struggle to get the memories of Gusen back into the consciousness of a broader public. And in this attempt, the contribution of a grandfather was very, very important. I remember several guided tours in Bergkristall when he joined me as a guide, and then when I talked, he started to cry, because remembering the situation from the past and the tunnels was hard for him. Yes, but he had enough power to speak to the audience, because when I know that there's a survivor among the group, then I give them the word, because they speak more authentic. They have seen it, they've experienced it themselves. And I'm just the teller of stories, the things I have learned from people like your father.
So what does it mean for you to be a teller of stories? Because honestly, many of us, we are the last generation who will know folks like my grandfather. What does it mean to be the teller of stories? How does that responsibility shift for you? How did you take ownership of that responsibility? Why did you do that? Why was it important for you to be a teller of stories?
My motivation is, as you have heard already in the inauguration, Gusen was an extermination camp, and the inmates of Gusen were exterminated twice. At first physically by the Nazis, and the second time by the world public by forgetting them, by not remembering them, especially for Jews, for example. This is a clear statement of wiping out if you do not remember one that perished, a victim. And therefore, when I speak on behalf of 44,000 humans that cannot speak any longer because they were murdered, as we have heard a few minutes ago, by the Nazis here in this area.
So what can we do? Like what do we need to do to make sure that that memory of Gusen is revived? That we're here, we're trying, we would love to help out however we can, and what are the things that you're working towards right now that
the most important support we can get is political support from our foreign friends, because also today at this organization not one single representative of official Austria was there. Also there were Polish ministers, they came from Warsaw. No official Austrian representatives were there. So this is a scandal, in my opinion. Same because our political leadership, up to now, they have no consciousness what Gusen really means. They were told for decades, oh, this is a satellite of Mauthausen, yeah, you can neglect it, and it is sufficient if you go to the main commemoration on Sunday, and what they do on Saturday at Gusen, it's nuts. And this is not true.
I mean, even in your book, though, in terms of scale, this wasn't a subcamp. This was a twin, or if not larger, more important business, hub of the SS economically and war from a war perspective.
Yes, and we try to offer our knowledge in English language, for example. It is not our native language, to the people of goodwill. Let's say in these words. And if you would like to support our work, then speak about Gusen, tell the story of Gusen to your friends, to the people in your life, or to an audience if you have one. If you're a broadcaster, broadcast it. Yeah? I think the more people get a chance to learn about Gusen, the better we can secure the future memory of this biggest group of concentration camp victims in Austria.
Through the Sahara with the...
Yeah, and what's your name?
Julian.
Julian, I'm David. Nice to meet you. How old are you?
I'm 19.
19. Holy God. I'm 24. So, yeah, you sound a lot more mature for your age. So awesome.
Well, it's probably because I love the English language, and I do read most of my stuff in English, because that's why I think in English you can talk so much more profound than in German.
Yeah. Are you a tour guide here?